In this video, we'll show you how to bleed your brake fluid on your Nissan Altima. You can find the right brake fluid on CarParts.com via the link in the description. For safety reasons, we strongly suggest watching our video on how to jack your Nissan Altima safely. Remove any residual vacuum or hydraulic pressure from the brake power booster by applying the brake several times with the engine off. Open the brake fluid reservoir. Remove the reservoir filter. In the case of a complete bleeding of the brake fluid circuit, you must start by emptying the used fluid using a pump. Put the filter back in place. Then fill the reservoir with new fluid to the maximum level. It should be pointed out that there are multiple types of brake fluid, so make sure you use the type recommended by the manufacturer. When you bleed the brake fluid circuit, there is a bleeding order to follow. On this vehicle, the order is as follows: passenger side rear wheel, driver's side front wheel, driver's side rear wheel, passenger side front wheel. You will therefore have to successfully lift each part of your vehicle, then remove each wheel. Once the wheel is removed, you have access to the bleeder located on the brake caliper. Start by removing the stopping plug. Using a wire brush, brush the bleeder clean before applying penetrating oil to make sure you don't break the trap if it gets rusty. The simplest method, requiring the least amount of tools, is to use a container pre-filled with a little brake fluid. Dip a tube into the container. The brake fluid will prevent air from rising up the tube during bleeding operations. For the rear calipers, position an 8mm wrench on the bleeder. Then connect the other end of the tube to the bleeder. Before opening the bleeder, gently pump the brake pedal a few times to pressurize the system. Once the pedal is hard, hold it down. At this time, open the bleeder to let the brake fluid drain. As fluid escapes from the bleeder, the pedal is depressed. Only when the bleeder is closed can you release the brake pedal. Repeat this operation until there is no more air in the system. It is important to regularly add brake fluid to the reservoir to prevent air from entering the master cylinder. When a clear, bubble-free liquid flows out, all you have to do is close the bleeder and disconnect the tool. Don't forget to clean the parts around the bleeder with brake cleaner to remove all traces of brake fluid. For great content, our best price, and fast shipping, download the CarParts.com app now. For the front calipers, take a wire brush and brush the bleeder clean before applying penetrating oil to make sure that you don't break the trap if it gets rusty. Position a 10mm wrench on the bleeder. You can also use brake bleeder wrenches connected to a tube fitted with a non-return system, which prevents air from re-entering the circuit. With this tool, simply pump the brake pedal gently to evacuate air from the system and replace the old fluid with new. Once the circuit has been bled, close the bleeder and remove the tool. Don't forget to clean the parts around the bleeder with brake cleaner to remove all traces of brake fluid. Once all 4 wheels have been purged, fill the reservoir with new fluid to the maximum level. Once the bleeding is done, check that your brakes are working properly. The brake pedal should feel hard when pumped without being spongy. Warning: if you have any concern about the effectiveness of your braking system, if the brake pedal remains soft after several bleedings, or if the brake or anti-lock indicator remains illuminated, do not use the vehicle and have it checked by a garage. Operation complete.